The better question is what's not going on in this concert.
We have a quintet playing tonight.
We have dancers, we have poets, we have actors, and we have sundolls, so it's kind of an interdisciplinary extravaganza.
What's going on tonight? Are you excited?
Yes, extremely.
We did a concert like this a year ago, and so far I haven't heard anyone that left unhappy.
This is going to be a really great night of really innovative music.
It is a little different. That's why I'm excited.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The interesting part about this show is that it is not made off traditional instruments. All of the musicians are trained musicians, but they are actually using iPads to create the music.
Well, I am an iPadist. I play an iPad, a new musical instrument.
Digital instruments nowadays are pretty impressive as far as the sound that they produce, so they come pretty close.
It didn't come as too much of a surprise, but when I heard it, I was definitely intrigued, definitely surprised.
There are people who play a traditional instrument that don't want to believe other instruments can be as good, but musical history is littered with instruments that have come and gone. There was a time once when the lute was the most popular musical instrument in all of Europe, and it's all but gone today. And yet, I'm sure that at the time when the lute was starting to disappear, there were purists going, well, these newfangled things aren't good.
You know what, when we were first invited to come, we were a little skeptical. The idea of guys up there banging on the iPad had us thinking, what the heck are we in for? And we didn't know, but it ended up being a really excellent time.
I have an iPad. I've never tried to play music on it, and I know that I would not have been able to do what those folks in there did tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I thought it was fabulous. It was definitely, I was coming into this very skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, you should be happy that there's something new and refreshing. And like I said, the old is still going to be there, and we could still have fun with that. And with the contribution of new things like iPads, then we can blend the old and the new, and that's what this show is all about. Coming up with new things from old models.
I think more so is that if you can play the role and it does it right, then it really doesn't matter what instrument you're using to do it.
This is the end of an era.
For as long as anyone can remember, the old Meadowlawn Ballpark in St. Pete has meant softball and baseball. Now its days are numbered, but it's coming alive just one more time.
In the air, go! 3 on the ground, go! 4 outfield! Go, go, go!
Recently, the field's been home to the St. Pete Beach Sharks girls softball team. Since the field's being sold, this is the players' last time taking the mound.
It's very tough. It's very tough. There's so many memories right at this park.
Go 3!
Many of the kids grew up here. They have memories of throwing their first pitch, scoring their first run, and in the case of Chelsea Hage and Caitlin Judici, making a best friend.
She's my weekend sister. Everyone here is like my family. We're all really close. We have sleepovers all the time, and it's kind of hard to see everything go.
The girls say they'd hoped their own children would be able to play here one day. The thought of losing the field brings them to tears.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. It's my home. Infield,
Before
go 2.
they say goodbye to the field for good,
you can't take the field home with you, right? So I got you the field to take home.
The coach gives each player a locket filled with clay. It's shaped like a heart, symbolic, because the girls say they'll carry the memories they made here close to their hearts forever.
And I really hope that other people get a chance to just, have what I have right now and be grateful for it.
Ready? Sharks on 3.
1, 2, 3.
Sharks on 3! Sharks on 3! 1, 2, 3, sharks!
In St. Petersburg,
Shark bait! Woo-ha-ha!
Lori Davison, Bay News 9.
Queena was just everyone's friend. She was very popular and very likable. She was very into fashion and she was into her schooling, and she was just a very, very good girl.
So much has changed for Queen Afua in the last 6 years, but so much has also remained the same.
She just chooses to be happy and inspirational.
Queena was a high school senior when she was raped, beaten, and left for dead outside the Bloomingdale Library in 2008. Doctors gave her a 10% chance of survival, but her sister Anna says she's a fighter.
It's very hard to suffer something traumatic and recover. You know, it's hard to suffer and then it's easy to give up. But if you don't give up, then it's hard and you have to keep going.
Stand tall. That's it.
Since the attack, Queena's family has provided round-the-clock care. Queena does numerous physical and occupational therapies every day.
Leg straight, honey.
Anna says she's making progress.
Again, when you're ready to kick. Excellent.
She's been standing, she's been eating, she's holding her head up, she's tracking things, she's more verbal, more comprehensive, and she's just on the right road. She's healing every day.
Good, you did it.
But therapy is expensive. The family estimates it costs about $70,000 a year, with Medicaid covering only a small portion of that. So they rely on fundraisers and donations to make up the difference.
Just one small thing from one person can dramatically help another.
They're planning a holiday shopping fair to raise money and celebrate Queena's favorite season.
She was the gift wrapper, she was the cooker, she put up the Christmas tree. She loved shopping.
Take a step with your right leg.
One day they're hoping she can do all of that again. In the meantime, they say what really matters still remains.
I was always, you know, her big sister, and she was my little shadow, and she looked at me as, you know, her protector, and we were just so close, and we still are.
In Hillsborough County, Lori Davison, Bay News 9.
I love it out here. It's beautiful.
For Lillian Covert, Lake Wales is home.
I like it. It's different than in the city. You know, it seems more, you got more privacy out here. And, oh, I don't know. I just like the space, the open space, you know. I sit there, I rock, I can watch the traffic go by, and it's just peaceful and quiet, relaxing.
10 years ago, the traffic going by was named Hurricane Charlie.
Well, there it goes!
Tightly packed and rated a Category 4 when it made landfall, Charlie was an unwelcome visitor.
We got in, we dug our way in the driveway. By that time, the water had come up, and we had to wade in water through the driveway, but we got in.
Dug in and rallied together, and eventually put their home back together. Charlie ripped down trees and turned their yard, their oak trees, into a mangled mess.
About 4 or 5 of them out there.
And they fell down toward the house?
Towards the house.
But not on the house?
But not on the house, no. We couldn't get in the house. We had to dig our way in.
Had to do that.
Was really something to see.
Yeah.
But it didn't bother me. Watching it on TV was somebody else.
Right. Somebody and something else was just around the corner. First Charlie, then Francis, then Jean. In Lake Wales, many residents weathered the 2004 storm season with faith. But even churches were not spared. First Baptist Church of Lake Wales, it's just off the main drag. Pastor Barry Hooton leads a loyal congregation, one that got one uninvited visitor after the next.
That was probably the surprise. You know, one hurricane coming through Central Florida like this every 40 years maybe, but you know, we're busy trying to put things back together and getting, you know, our roof, part of the roof was off Sanctuary, a couple of the other buildings.
After Charlie was Francis, and after Francis?
Then, 3 weeks later, who would expect, we hit a third one, and of course it came then from the East Coast, and it came across over here and it just finished us off. The rest of what roof was still on, it took it all off, so now we've lost, you know, totally everything. Hurricane Charlie.
There was no choice but to rebuild. That was the easy part. While no one died in Lake Wales during Hurricane Charlie, 2 people did pass in the recovery effort.
The hardest things that I had to do during the entire thing, it wasn't my house, it wasn't the church, but as I sat there at Lakeland in the emergency room, waiting on his wife to get there to be with the doctors to tell them that her husband had passed away.
An impossible moment of grief and a pastor's reflection on a sense of community.
Well, when I look back, that's what I see. It was a time when people come together and they gave. It wasn't about taking, it was about giving. We may get hit with a 4th one, I don't know, and we may lose all of our buildings, but if we do, the church is still here because these buildings are not the church. We are the church, the people of the church, and we may be across the street in the parking lot under a tent, but the church is doing well. We're alive and well, and it's only the buildings that are gone, and we can replace buildings.
Replace buildings and prepare for the next time.
Picturesque Punta Gorda.
Small city feel. Everyone knows everybody.
South of Sarasota, the name means Fat Point.
At the football games every Friday night, they have alumni stand up, and everyone stands up because they're all alumni.
It sticks out into crystal clear Charlotte Harbor.
Yeah, the harbor's gorgeous. I raced in that harbor. I raced sailboats in that harbor.
And on August 13, 2004, a lot of residents never saw danger coming, except
it was just a bad feeling. It was a bad feeling the week before because I bought my generators like 2 weeks before. I just had a bad feeling that this was going to be the year, that was going to be the year. I don't know why. People laughed at me. I had a $3,000 generator. I mean, and I needed it.
Greg Mirapodi owns Greg's Automotive. And sitting on Peace Harbor, he knew a crushing storm was coming. As we were on the air in 2004, it became clear Charlie's path was changing.
I was working the morning shift at Bay News 9 on August 13, 2004. Charlie moved off the coast of Cuba. We were watching it on our radar all the way, moving right up the west coast of Florida. It took just a little push of upper level winds to push it in to the east, not in Tampa Bay, didn't make it that far. Made landfall here at Punta Gorda, and it was almost a Category 5 hurricane.
When the storm came through, it caught the air conditioner, the wind, and ripped all the glass out. And the storm came through the office into the shop, and it had no place to go because I had everything so tight with the bay doors and stuff. And it had no place to go and went up. And that's when it ripped the roof up. And that's how it escaped, and that's basically why the building survived.
A lot of buildings didn't survive.
Whoa, there it goes! Whoa!
And just like that, the city went too. Charlotte Memorial Hospital ripped apart, and that picturesque little town looked like a war zone. Up and down Florida's west coast, it was obvious. Charlie packed a small and powerful punch. Captiva Island will never be the same. The 2004 storm sawed one tiny piece of paradise right in half.
Actually crushed that little Vega.
Back in Punta Gorda, Greg says it's what came next that proved that Punta Gorda also has the will to keep moving.
All good came out of this hurricane. It took out a lot of stuff that should have been taken out. It brought a whole town together. We have like a camaraderie. You know, we all know who stuck it out, who didn't, and it's like like the hidden handshake.
Yeah.
You know, we all know.
To put this city back on its feet.
Making it easy. That's the theme this year at Pinellas County Emergency Management.
One of the things we're trying to do here in Pinellas County is eliminate excuses. What we want to do is we want to give people reasons why they should do it. We want to give them the rationale, the science behind it. We want them to understand why we're asking people to evacuate. And that's why we do things like videos about explaining what things are.
And the way things are. Fact is, Florida is hurricane prone.
Until Pinellas County is relocated to Montana, every year we have to look at the threat a hurricane poses. We can have a quiet year, we can certainly hope for a quiet year. Nobody hopes for a quiet year more than I do.
For 6 months a year, we watch the tropics. Some years, we steer clear of danger, but others...
And we have to kind of shake people out of their hurricane amnesia and remind them how bad 2004 was and why they need to be ready.
2004, the season some Floridians would just as soon forget. This time around, Tom Iavino with Pinellas County Government says if another busy season creeps up, there's a new tool to help.
What's changed in 2004? The number one thing that's changed is social media. In 2004, we had no way for somebody to carry a computer with them when they evacuated. Now your smartphone today is your computer.
And on that smartphone, use things like the Bay News 9 app or sign up for our weather alerts to keep you safe in the face of a storm.
A hurricane gives us days of warning where you'll know it's going to be coming and you can make those preparations to keep yourself and your family safe. That's really valuable time that other areas of the country don't get. We need you to understand how important it is to take that time and use it wisely. I'm never going to ride the back of a fire truck and go into a burning building to save somebody. I'm never going to face down an armed assailant and arrest them to protect somebody. But hopefully, one day, what we do, what we've been trying to accomplish here will save a life. And if we've done that, I know I've done my job the right way.
Preparing for the storm obviously starts at your local improvement store. What you're going to need, you're going to need things like flashlights. Weather radio is a good idea. Keep in mind that you're going to need to pick up the jugs of water. You're going to need to think ahead. You're going to need to think batteries, lots of them, because when the power goes out, you're going to need a lot of that. And of course, if you want some electricity besides the batteries, you might want to consider the generators.
Hi, I'm Lloyd with the Home Depot, and behind me are a few of the items that you will need for the storm season.
Some things you may already have on hand. Others you can pick up before a system ever threatens.
It's really better to be prepared, because if it does happen, then you are really left out in the dark. You don't have to go crazy on it, but it's good to have the staples, like your water, your flashlight. We should have that at all times anyways.
Here are a couple things you want to make sure you have on your hurricane checklist. A battery-operated clock along with some extra batteries, a manual can opener, clean clothes, and heavy gloves. Make sure you move any outdoor patio furniture inside. Trim dead branches from trees, board up your windows, fill up gas tanks, and pick up extra cash, making it easy to be storm ready.